little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
That's what she said. Okay, yeah, that's what's going on. Anyways, how are you doing on this fantastic Monday? Yes, fantastic Monday. Why is it so fantastic? Well, because we're hanging together. What other reason would you deem it to be fantastic? I mean, you are there, I am here, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. It is day 346 of the year and only 19 days to go. Yeah, 19 days to go. That's it. That will bring it all to the end of times. I mean, okay, the end of days. Okay, maybe the end of something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Anyways, should we start talking about programming notes? About the week of the 26th through the 30th? Because I am pretty sure that some people are doing disappearing acts, and we need to figure it out what the hell's going on. So anyways, like I said, we're broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and then we are coming across the multiverse of ours. And we are hanging and banging with those other people over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
You know, I don't know why, but every time I hear anything that says Radio Big, I want to say Radio Big. You know, Radio Big. You know, it's just like that big booming thing. I don't know. It just gets to me. Like it needs to be said in that fashion. It's the way that it goes. So how was your weekend? Were you brave? Were you amongst the brave? And went out there and took a look around and did the shopping thing and all that kind of fun stuff. Because if you were, you are a brave soul. You are a brave soul. I did tell you that the people from To Write Love on Her Arms were doing a warehouse sale over the weekend. And I did make an appearance over there, meaning that I showed up and bought some stuff. That was about the only store outside of restaurants that I went to this weekend because I am afraid of Americans. I mean, I'm afraid of being in general public where there's a lot of people, especially during this time of the year. I try to avoid stores like it's the plague, but that's me. But I hope that you're doing you in that particular regards because, you know, it varies significantly on what you want to do. I try to order everything online if I'm gifting stuff, as I am thinking about this, about ordering stuff online. I don't think I've ordered shit this year in regards to presents for people. Guess I probably need to give that into consideration. But I keep on thinking that this is the year that I'm just going to donate a whole bunch of money to charity and then just give it in like other people's honor. I mean, I think that's the easiest way to do it. What do you think? What? I don't know. A lot of stuff going through the brain right away. Let's talk about what's trending because I think that's going to be important.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about what was trending across the planetarium there. So there you go. Saturday was National Pastry Day. I'm trying to figure out, did I have any pastries on Saturday? I don't think I had any pastries on Sunday either, but I definitely didn't have any on Saturday. Twitter Files 3 was trending on Saturday as more behind-the-scenes interactions between social media platform and the government agencies was revealed. Several Twitter users commented on the scandal, starting that they now believe that the election was stolen from Donald Trump, not based on vote counts, but based on the FBI DHS conspiracies to silence him. We can talk a little bit more about that in a bit if you want to. Be interesting to talk about for sure. Also, if you can be first was trending on Saturday. Tweets were using the hashtag that included reinvent yourself. At least have one spectacular pout. Keep hitting the snooze button. And to be as mediocre as possible. Patti LaBelle was trending as she was rushed off the stage during a concert in Milwaukee. We can talk a little bit more about that if you'd like. Also, Sunday was National Bagel Day. Yeah, Bagel Day. So that was been talking about a little bit. Fauci landed on Twitter top 10 trends on Sunday as users called Dr. Fauci to be investigated and or prosecuted for his handling of the pandemic. Several others also pointed out that his daughter used to work for Twitter. What does that have to do with anything? I'm confused on that one. So, hey, his daughter used to work for Twitter. Congrats. I mean, what the freak? What the freak? You know what I'm saying? And then what else? Heisman was trending over the weekend as the 2022 Heisman Trophy winner was announced. Do you care about that stuff? I mean, I don't know. College football and all that kind of things. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told my football story. I used to watch football all the time, and I'm talking about NFL. And then I got to one point that I was watching NFL all the time. I would sit there on Sunday morning to night just watching endless amount of games. This was before the Red Zone was available everywhere, but it was only available on DirecTV. And I would sit there for countless hours watching it. And I would not hang out with people, have people come over, which is not much different than what I do now. But back then I would very limited on anything that I would do on a Sunday because of football. And then one morning I woke up and I go, and not because I was betting, let's make sure that I'm clear. I woke up and I said, this is a waste of time. And I just stopped doing it. And having watched football, I mean, on a religious basis, meaning continuously, I'll watch the Super Bowl and maybe I'll watch a playoff game here or there, but that's about it. But have not watched anything for probably about 10 years. And I remember I had a friend back in the day that his wife used to tell me that I did not watch real man's football, that was college football. There was a point that I was getting to. And so making the college reference right there. Kind of an eerie, weary one when you really start talking about it, because it's is really that the man football? I mean, I'm confused on what that means. But hey, to each their own as they are talking about all of this lovely, lovely stuff. That is for sure. So let's talk real quick. If you're new to the show, let me kind of explain to you how it works. We talk about safety. We talk about safety in the news. We bring in professional broadcasters to keep you up to date to what the hell is going on right now. And a lot of people question that portion right there. If you're doing a safety show, why do you bring in professional broadcasters to talk about other stuff? Here's the gig. Let's kind of think on the big picture here, because I think that sometimes the big picture becomes shortened depending on our mindset. If you talk about the things that are currently going on inside of the world of the news, it's an entry point to tie into what is important to you when you're trying to have a conversation with someone who might not give two shitsos to what the hell's going on inside of the world of safety. See? We're trying to keep you with pop culture, my friends. Pop culture and things that are trending and all that kind of fun stuff. There is a method to my madness. My madness might not have a method, but that's a whole other story that we can talk about for another day. Yeah, if you're noticing in the background, Christmas lighting going on, yeah, that's designed by choice. Christmas music at the beginning. Yeah, we're during that time of the year that, for the next 13 days, you get the torture chamber. I mean, you get to enjoy all this great stuff during this time of the year. That's some stuff to think about. So let's do this. Let's bring in the professional broadcasters. Let them tell you what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news. And then we can go from there and we'll start partying, harding, very, very much so. And then we'll figure out what the hell we're going to do next, because I'm just still trying to figure it out.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brad Siegel. A Libyan man suspected in the 1988 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, is now in U.S. custody. NBC's Maggie Vespa has more.
The Justice Department confirms the man charged with building that bomb is in U.S. custody. His name, Abu Aguila Mohammed Masoud Kir al-Marimi, according to the DOJ, a former Libyan intelligence officer under the notorious Gaddafi regime.
The explosion killed 270 people, including 190 Americans. A Department of Justice spokesperson says the Libyan operative is expected to make an initial appearance in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia after a decades-long effort to bring him to justice. An Arizona sheriff is accusing the state's outgoing Republican Governor Doug Ducey of illegal dumping. Trey Thomas has more.
Santa Cruz County Sheriff David Hathaway says Governor Ducey is using shipping containers lined with razor wire to fill in gaps in the wall along the southern border. Hathaway said on Sunday he'll take action against construction crews if they cross into his jurisdiction. Hathaway said the containers are being placed on federal national forest land. Ducey started having shipping containers double-stacked and covered in razor wire along Arizona's border with Mexico earlier this year. I'm Trey Thomas.
Eruptions on the world's biggest active volcano are slowing, and Mauna Loa on Hawaii's Big Island has been downgraded from a warning to a watch. The U.S. Geological Survey's Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reported over the weekend that the eruption on Mauna Loa's northeast rift zone was continuing, but lava output and volcanic gas eruptions were greatly reduced. A major winter storm is expected to hit many parts of the U.S. In the Sierra Nevadas, snow is expected to continue falling at up to 3 inches per hour. That storm is expected to reach the Great Basin and the desert southwest by today. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Laura Macon-Isherwood. China is expanding its medical facilities in rural areas as international health experts predict the country could face a surge in COVID-19 cases after scaling back strict virus rules. There are gas supply concerns in Germany as sub-zero temperatures sweep Europe and drive up energy use. And snowfall has led to hundreds of flights being cancelled at airports across the United Kingdom.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Twitter is set to relaunch its subscription service today. Scott Carr has more.
Twitter Blue had to be rolled back following an early November rollout after users paid the $8 for verification only to then use it to impersonate brands and celebrities. Now a revamped version will be available at $11 a month for Apple users and $8 a month for everyone else. Twitter Blue will allow users to edit tweets, upload high-quality videos, and their account gets the blue checkmark symbol. Elon Musk, who took Twitter private for $44 billion in November, had a series of tweets last month listing various grievances with Apple. I'm Scott Carr.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will travel to Arlington, Virginia today to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Toys for Tots. The Bidens will be at Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall for a U.S. Marine Corps Toy for Tots sorting event. Toys for Tots started out in 1947, run by the Marine Reserve, as a program to distribute toys to children whose families can't afford to buy them gifts for the holidays. The CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase says America will be fine if a recession happens.
America is the most prosperous nation the world's ever seen.
In an interview on CBS's Face the Nation, Jamie Dimon added that the country is in an amazing position of strength because of its basic principles and innovation. Dimon noted that the war in Ukraine still worries him. He says the full impact of the conflict on food prices around the world has not been seen yet. A new indoor mask mandate may soon be coming to Los Angeles County. That's because the county is back in the CDC's high COVID-19 transmission level. Local health officials say the region is now averaging 258 COVID cases per 100,000 people. Despite the possibility of a new mask order, Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says it will not prompt lockdowns or business closures. And gas prices are on the decline heading into the new week, down 2 cents from over the weekend. AAA puts the nationwide average at $3.27 a gallon. Brad Siegel, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the law site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, we'll figure it out."
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. You are listening to a Radio God. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a Radio God. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, here we go again. 19 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging and banging on this lovely Monday. So there you go. So if you're in a school district similar to my kids, well, you know that this is it. This is the week. After this week, they're all inside of the house for the next 3 semanas. So there you go. I hope you have some stuff planned out for what the hell they're going to be doing. So it's going to be fun, some fun times, depending on how you do it. Or maybe you're flying away and going to do something else. So let's talk real quick about what is going on inside of the world of the news. By the way, it sucks if you're in the UK today and everything is going in the lockdown aspect. If you're trying to fly out, that's the only portion of the sucking that is involved in the UK. Everything else is great because you're in the UK. I mean, look at it from that standpoint. So let's talk about real quick what's going on the top of the shit list.
Duh.
Because that's going to be some important stuff right there. The Artemis 1 mission concluded on Sunday when Orion capsule successfully splashed into the west of Baja California. One of my favorite places on the planet is Baja California. Just want to make sure that I do reference that. The reentry procedure largely mirrored the technology that developed for the mission that took astronauts to space back in the 1960s and 1970s. But for the first time, they used a skip entry during the descent. The maneuver is the first uses the Earth atmosphere to slow down the descent before relying on the capsule to lift it again, increase the altitude before deploying the parachutes. Once the astronauts are on board, this sequence will decrease the G-forces, minimizing the external temperatures, and assist the spacecraft into splashing down in a more consistent area, if one may say so. Also, the follow-up mission, the Artemis II, which is expected to follow the similar flight plans, except with astronauts, maybe I can say the word here in a moment, on board, is scheduled for 2024. With the plans to put boots on moon in 2025. Meanwhile, Japanese moon lander carrying a lunar rover built by the UAE blasted off into the NASA's Cape Canaveral Space Force Station on SpaceX rocket on Sunday. So there you go. If you're looking around in the sky, maybe you have the opportunity to see that. Worth noting, what it sounds like is the plot for the space adventure movie. Is it the real deal? Yes, let's talk about some space adventures because that seems to be the thing to talk about as we are going. So let's talk about some things that are going on because you heard this news story all over the place Thursday to Friday and mostly over the weekend as well. So let's talk some wild international intrigue just days after Brittany Grenier was released from the Russian prison. The man that accused her of creating the bomb that destroyed the Pan Am Flight 103 over Scotland in 1988 and in American custody after years of living in Libya. Let's see. The guy is reportedly facing charges in Washington, D.C. courtroom this week after spending years in Libya. News outlets are reporting that the development appears that equally miffed as how this came about. All indicates that there have been no details yet explaining on how American officials took to custody the alleged, quote-unquote, terrorist. Interesting stuff going on right there. I mean, we have to talk about it. I mean, did you think that I was not going to talk about something? Did you think I was not going to blab at some point about things that are going on in the news? I mean, come on. Let's be real. Okay, so let's continue talking. The Guinness has certified the oldest living dog, Gino. The Chihuahua was 22 years old, 76 days as of Friday, with his owner, Alex, the sophomore in college when he first got Gino. Alex is now 40. Alex says that he feeds Gino boiled chicken and carrots with rice. Other than slowing down and struggling with his hearing, vets say that Gino's healthy and well. So there you go. You got something to talk about if you want to do so in that particular regards of, hey, I got something going on that I can tell you about Gino. And maybe that'll get a conversation started. Also, all appears to be well after a significant 6.0 magnitude earthquake shook southern Mexico on Sunday morning. No casualties or significant damage has been reported as of yet. So good to know. Good to know that it happened and nothing significant has been reported, or maybe nothing significant occurred. Maybe that's the other way to take a look at it. Anyways, take a listen to this. Chicken chain Popeyes has shuttered a Detroit area location after a video posted a DoorDash showing a cockroach infested on the counter. Yeah, I love cockroach infestation on a counter. And around the food went viral. The video narrator says the workers are just laughing when they brought the infestation to their attention, which included roaches on the food boxes and straws. Popeyes reps say that the independent franchise operates the store and they're taking corrective action. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Let's take that responsibility and move it from here to there. Let's talk about this. They are still representing you by name. And what happened to standards and practices? Do you not have someone going by to verify what the fuck your franchisees are doing? I mean, it's kind of an interesting one when you really start thinking about it. Well, it's our name, but it's not us. It's not the corporate model. It's the franchisee. I mean, nothing better to going to, a food location and getting a nice little fried Louisiana-style cockroach inside of your food.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. Cockroach Day. Anyway, so let's go from there. So let's talk about this real quick because I think it's going to be important to do so. What if we brought in some John Smalls? He told us what the hell is going on inside of the beat of the market because I think that that's going to be important, and we go from there. What do you think? It's only 25 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's do that.
Here's a Market Beat Minute for Monday, December 12th, 2022. Equities retreat ahead of the December FOMC meeting because of a growing fear of inflation. The last few consumer inflation reports suggested that inflation had peaked, but that was bellied by the PPI index Friday. That came in hot on all counts and points to ongoing systematic inflation that will lead to higher consumer prices down the road. The takeaway is that the Fed may slow the pace of interest rate hikes, but the duration and peak rate will be more than the market is expecting. Other than the FOMC meeting and the PPI, there's little for the market to pay attention to other than economic data, and there's a lot of that on the calendar. Reads on Empire Manufacturing, Philly Fed, MBOS, and retail sales top the list of reports. And they're expected to show a mixed picture of the economy, which will do little to cheer investors ahead of the holidays. A Santa Claus rally may be coming, but it's not here yet. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, thanks, John Smalls, for that one. The Santa Claus rally. I liked the little tie-in there. It was kind of significant. It made my world feel a little bit different today in that particular regards. Anyway, so let's talk about some stuff that I was able to find when it came to this whole market stuff of what happened on Friday. As you can tell, my reports for Friday to Monday are a little bit more detailed than the ones that I do during the rest of the week because I have a little bit more time to look them up. Okay, so take a listen to this. The Dow lost about 305 points to close at 33,476 on Friday. The S&P lost about 29 points to close at 3,934, and the Nasdaq lost about 77 points to close at 11,004 points. West Texas Intermediate dipped to about $71 a barrel as Brent crude stayed about 76. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.27 on Sunday. Bitcoin ended up flat on Sunday evening. Even after the spike during the trading day, just a little bit over $17,100. There was 3,797 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Sunday, and about 178 cancellations. 178, 178. That's a lot of cancellations when you start kind of putting it all together and thinking about this whole thing, going, well, what the freak is going on? Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying and what you're thinking and what you're doing, because there is no doubt about it. Nobody wants to be that kind of canceled. Okay, do you? I don't know. We're talking here. We're talking about some stuff that is going on inside of the world. How else would you look at this? Would you look at it in any other shape, way, or form? So let's talk real quick about, well, where did everything go? Where did everything go? I love when my charty arty disappears from time to time, but hey, I guess those are the things that happen when we are doing liveys. So taking a look around, I think that right now what we should probably be talking about, if we're going to talk about anything, is we should probably talk about what the hell happened in the movies. Weekend box office. Let's talk about this. Are you going to the movies? I don't think I've been to the movies in some time. But that's okay. Take a listen to this. At number 10, Ticket to Paradise with $599,000, which I have a hard time understanding because they just released it on Peacock. At number 9, spoiler alert, $700,000. That's up from the 21 spot. Yeah, 21 spot. Made it all the way to number 9. I Heard the Bells, $750,000. At number 7 was The Flabermans with $1.1 million. At number 6, Black Adam with $1.3 million. At number 5, Devotion with $1.9 million. At number 4, The Menu with $2.7 million. At number 3, Strange World with $3.6 million. At number 2, Violent Night. Yes, not Silent Night, but Violent Night with $8.6 million. And at the number one spot, again, it seems like it's going to be there for some time. It's Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Now, I wonder how long we're going to see this movie in the top spot. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I wonder how long we can see it there. A lot of people seem to really like this movie. So that is a good thing. Let's keep it that way. What else do we see going on inside of the world? Let's talk about this. Karen Bass is now the mayor of Los Angeles. During the inauguration speech, Bass reiterated on her campaign promises, saying that addressing the homelessness will be her priority. Let's take a listen.
First day as mayor at the city's emergency operations centers, where my first act as mayor will be to declare a state of emergency on homelessness.
Okay, Bass was sworn in by Vice President Kamala Harris on Sunday. Bass is now the first woman and second black person to lead the city. Today, Bass is the first day official in her office. So let's take a listen to some more things she has to say. Bass was saying that she's taking over the infection point in Los Angeles history.
Pandemic, a rapidly changing economy, a rapidly changing climate, the cost of living, and in Los Angeles, 40,000 people sleeping on the street every day.
Bass says that LA can solve its homelessness crisis with a unified and urgent effort.
We must have a single strategy to unite our city and county and engage the state, the federal government, the private sector, and every other stakeholder.
Do you hear the little boom, boom, boom? This is what happens when you hit the podium and you have a microphone that does not have a balancer. Yep, that's what happens. You see, mine has a little rumble kit here, so that way it doesn't rumble when you hit the damn podium. That's why I don't hit anything. I try to avoid it like the plague, unless I hit the microphone like that. Anyways, with that being said, 32 minutes past the top of the hour. I'm supposed to give you some kind of main story during this time, so I guess let's do that. Let's do the main story. What's the main story today?
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, it's that time of the year where it gets interesting because we get to talk about all kinds of fun stuff. And I think that during almost all times of the year, we get to talk about fun stuff and kind of pull and teeter and totter and all of that. So I guess we should talk about this because let's take a look around at the landscape inside of your joint right now. And when I'm talking about your joint, I'm not talking about a smoky oaky joint. I'm talking about like your organization. I'm talking about your workplace. I'm talking about the places that you assist with. What's going on currently? If you take a look around at the landscape, are people still doing the work? And let me explain that because it can be slightly confusing. When I say are people still doing the work, meaning are you noticing that there's a lot more people on vacation? Are you noticing that there's less people around? Are you noticing that people are still treating things like normal? Because it gets very, very confusing during this time of year. Most organizations that I talk to say that if they're realistically counting their hatched chickens, realistically, they might have 1 week worth of work for the month of December. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start thinking about everything that's going on, the week that people normally take off, which is the week of the 26th through the 30th, regardless of the year on how you look at it, that's normally the timeline that a lot of people take off. So they talk about that. They talk about how they have normally about a week worth of partying going on and how, other people will start kind of slowing down some of the things that are going on inside of that regards because they know that they can't get a hold of a lot of people through the phone. And I'm talking from an office workplace. I am not talking about teleworking because teleworking is slightly different. Because I don't know why, but I have been convinced for years at this point that if you telework, and I'm not picking on the people that go into offices, so let's explain that. You have the opportunity with teleworking. You're probably doing a lot more shit because you'll go, okay, time block, do this, come back, move, go, and all that. But teleworking changes that aspect. So when you look right now, are you believing or even thinking that safety is being done in the way that it should be with less people? Is work being done the way that it was done before the holiday quote-unquote season started occurring? And if the answer is yes, well, that's good that things are going normal, whatever normal means. And if the answer is no, then my question to you becomes, how do you have an impact or change it? Because here's where a lot of people in our little industry get hung up. The responsibility for safety. And it's not like it is in the world of, let's say, quote-unquote operations, where you have a operations president, vice president, manager, director, whatever you want to call them. You might have these things inside of your organization, but still, it does not boil down to how it is inside of the world of operations, where you have a person that they go, quote-unquote, you are responsible for this. Because realistically, if you have one person inside of your operation that's responsible for safety, well, I think that you already have a bad bill of goods as we are talking. So how do you change some of these things? How do you make sure that the focus is still there? It still boils down to the same thing. It's communication. And if we have to talk about the secret sauce here, about how you get a lot of the stuff related to safety out there, think about safety as marketing. I say this all the time to people. I don't know if I really say it on the show that often, but I do say it to people all the time. Safety is a version of marketing. Think about it. It is marketed to you. And not saying that all marketing is bad and not saying that all marketing is good, but the only way that you're going to know more about it is because of the way that it is marketed. I remember I used to work at this lovely electronics store that used to, their colors are blue and gold, or blue and yellow, depending on how you want to look at it. And sometimes some people say that you can find the best buy in electronics at their store. But I remember they had this character that was the Shrink Stomper, and they wanted you to know about shrink, meaning things that are stolen out of the store. And this character that they developed showed you so much in a marketing perspective about what shrink was and how it had impacted you, that's how they went around marketing it. And I always say, if you use techniques of marketing to bring up the aspect of what you're doing inside of the world of safety, you'll get a lot more views, a lot more vision on what the hell you have going on, opposed to you just going, okay, let's just do something else. Let's talk about it in a boring meeting. It's called infotainment. And if you ever take a listen to the people that are really good talking about safety, they're entertainers, but able to get a point across. At least the guy that I say that's my mentor, well, he's really good at it. At least that's the way that I look at it. How would you change the stuff that you're doing? How would you make sure that that's still the focus of safety that's going on right now during this time of the year? Maybe that's something to think about today.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bed wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Look through your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
From now on, our troubles will be miles away.
Still listening to the Rated R Safety Show on this lovely Monday. Coming across Safety FM and Radio Big. And this is Babylon with Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
And through the years, we all will be together.
So there you go. Thank you for Baby Lion for allowing us to play this. You can find this on Spotify and iTunes.
Hang a shining.
So let's talk a little bit as we are still playing this. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me play this a little bit still in the background here. And let's talk about this. Let me tell you real quick about the most important thing that I'm going to tell you. And this is at any point. And I want to make sure that I reference this. This time of the year is when you start seeing the most incidents related to self-harm and suicides. Because people have a really hard time during this time of the year. And I want to tell you real quick about my friends at 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They can help prevent suicide. The Lifeline provides 24/7 free and confidential support for people in distress, prevention, and crisis resources for you and loved ones, and the best practices for professionals in the United States. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to 988lifeline.org, 988lifeline.org, call 988, or text the word TALK to 988. Listen, you never know when you're going to need this. This is why we talk about this year around, because it's that important. It's not a time of a season. It's not a day of the week. It's not a month of the year. But I can tell you that based on trends and based on track records, we definitely see a lot more of this during the holiday season. So that's why I talk about this all the time. So let's get into the move of things and listen, let's talk about it. If you see people that are struggling, or if you're struggling, reach my friends at 988lifeline.org. Seriously. Let's get back into some moves and the grooves of the things that are going on inside of the show, because we want to talk about some of those things because they are important. Let's talk real quick about some home plates. Yeah, home plates. You know, when it comes to dirty dishes, are you a doer or ignorer? I like talking about this. The average dirty dish lays untouched in the sink for a day and a half, according to a survey of the People's Kitchen Habits. The study of 2,000 Americans also found that about half run their dishwasher 3 times per week. What other dirt did one poll survey dig up? Well, 54% believe that the pots and pans should be washed by hand, followed by fine dining ware, 46%, glasses 38%, coffee mugs 37%. Interestingly, there is almost a universal agreement where certain things belong in the dishwasher. Responders say that plates are 75%, culinary and utensils are 67%, pots and pans 55%, and fine dining ware 37%, all belong in the bottom rack. The top rack is reserved for coffee mugs, glasses, travel mugs, plasticwares, bowls. About half of Gen Zs and millennials believe that it's okay to leave dishes in the sinks for 1 to 4 days, putting them in the dishwasher, compared to 66% of Gen X and 72% of baby boomers who believe that 1 day is the limit, which I get. That's right. Nobody wants to look at dirty dishes. On the other hand, obviously, everyone would rather look at dirty dishes than clean them. I agree. And well, do we have to let them marinate on their own juices? Don't you? I mean, maybe that's some stuff to think about. I mean, I don't know. Some stuff to give some courage to, if you really give it some thought right there. Because what else would you do? I don't know. It's just some stuff. I mean, I don't know. In my house, we don't leave dishes. My wife doesn't like it. I normally try to put them in the dishwasher as soon as possible, but I do believe that the racks are developed in the way that was mentioned in what I was just talking about. Take a listen to this. It is a common question when winter weather hits. Should we leave our windshield wiper blades up in place for the snowfall on the ice? The Canadian Automobile Association, the CAA, which is the equivalent of AAA in the United States, recommend keeping them down because raising them reduces their pressure against the windshield over time, resulting in visibility issues, as well as wipers could snap back and crack the windshield, especially on a very cold day. While lifting the wipers priority is in wintry weather may reduce some wear and tear on the rubber, the vast majority of wear happens while actually using the wipers. So you don't want to do that kind of thing to make sure that you increase longevity of them. I'm also too not concerned about the longevity. Every time that I get an oil change, my mechanic goes and charges me to replace them anyways. I mean, here in Florida, they talk about that they can't be around excessive heat. I mean, I went to a tire shop a few days ago. This is not a joke. This was last week. And saying, hey, do you want to get your wipers changed? And I was like, wow, so now we're just selling all kinds of rubbers here. There is no joke. Or you can be like my grandmother and cover them with a winter knitted sock if you want to cover your wipers. And in my neighborhood, if you raise them, it's like putting a sign that says, please remove. So just be careful on whatever you decide. Anyways, with that being said, I think it is that time of the show where we need to bring in some John Smalls inside of here and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute. You know, John Small, John and Heidi can be heard in the afternoons here on Radio Big. But let's bring John in right now where you can take a listen to what he has to say.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Charlie. George Burns said, "I honestly think it is better to be a failure at something you love than to be successful at something you hate." I love that quote. I know people who are in a field they despise. Their father or grandfather started the company, and then they were destined to take over. They do it begrudgingly, but they really want to do something else. I worked for a man like that. He was the third generation to be in charge. His children, by the way, did not follow in his footsteps. They all took a different path in life. When he saw that was a possibility, he moved on too and became much happier doing what he wanted to do. Do something you love, and you will be much happier. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlessaMorgan.com. Somebody on a diet and struggling with cravings for fatty foods might be tempted to blame their taste buds. After all, the delicious taste of butter or ice cream is hard to resist. But new research investigating the source of our appetites has uncovered an entirely new connection between the gut and the brain that drives our desire for fatty foods. At Columbia Zuckerman Institute, scientists studying mice found that the fat entering the intestines triggers a signal. Conducted along nerves to the brain, the signal drives a desire for fatty foods. Published on September 7, 2022 in Nature, the new study raises the possibility of interfering with this gut-brain connection to help prevent unhealthy choices and address the growing global health crisis caused by overeating. For more information on wellness, check out AlessaMorgan.com.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
There will be no self-imploding on these airways. Anyways, currently 52 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's talk real quick. Number one, before I forget, have you taken a look at our newest book, How to Deal with Stress and Anxiety? It is readily available on Safety FM Plus if you're intrigued or interested in taking a look-see at it, because I think it's important during this time of the year to have that conversation. So that's readily available. All you have to do is go out there and take a look at what the hell we have going on, safetyfmplus.com. The other side of the equation, before I forget, we're getting closer to March. As you will see that we will be there in no time flat, and that's about the event that is going on with the Safety Differently workshop hosted by Todd Conklin, Martha Acosta, Mark Yeston, and Bob Edwards, and of course yours truly. We'll all be there in Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you want to come out, take a look, see what the hell is going on, and you get to choose your choice. You have a choice on what path you can go down in regards of this workshop. You go to safetyfm.io to find out more information, or you can scan the little QR code that's right there on the screener. So there you go, safetyfm.io. Find out about the Safety Differently workshop, and then we can go from there and figure it out and go see what exactly is going on from there. So let's talk a little quick about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news as we are hanging out on this lovely Monday. So let's talk real quick. Take a listen to this. Police are investigating a fight between LA City Councilman Kevin De Leon and activists following his 2-month hiatus after another video showed the politician using racial slurs. Trey Thomas has more information.
Of a video was released showing the altercation Los Angeles council member Kevin De Leon was involved in Friday night at a holiday event.
Resign, Kevin!
In the video, De Leon is seen trying to walk away from protesters and close a door. That's when the protesters pushed their way through the doorway and the altercation broke out. I'm Trey Thomas.
So there you go. Some interesting stuff going on right there. Take a listen to this one. The Detroit Symphony Orchestra says the audience members shouted out racial slurs during the performance on Friday night. A Charlie Brown Christmas, Cyrus Chestnut, and Friends, Jeffrey Gastainer says that he is happy that he and his wife were not there for the performance.
Just continues to make me uncomfortable. And this is a place that my wife and I, we go there often.
They say on Facebook that boasts of racism and bigotry have no place in the orchestra hall, and behavior like this is unacceptable. The orchestra apologized but did not say what slur was yelled. Once they identified the person, they have been permanently banned. Diane Gutessner says that the racial slur yelled at the Detroit Symphony concert worried her.
And, you know, push your safety. You know, you think about your safety in that environment as well.
So there you go, a lot of stuff going on right there. Let's talk real quick about some things that occurred back on this date. So taking a look around, let's see, back in 2000, the U.S. Supreme Court issues a ruling to landmark case of Bush v. Gore. The High Court ruled that the method that Florida Supreme Court outlined for the recounting of the ballots violated equal protection classes of the 14th Amendment. They also ruled that there would not be enough time to develop a fair recounting process for the ballots, not that it mattered after the fact, that all recounts show that Bush was the winner anyway. So there you go. That happened back in 2000. Here's some birthdays that are going on today. I'm not going to talk about all of them that I found, but here's some. Madison Amick turns 51. Jennifer Conley, yes, that Jennifer Conley. She turns 52 today. Regina Hall turns 52. What else? Bill Knighty turns 73. Diana Warwick turns 82. And Bob Barker, Bob Barker turns 99 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, I have some of those for you. It's Green Monday, Gingerbread Day, and National Ponciana Day. Ponciana Day. So there you go. Some stuff to take a look at if you are so inclined to do so. If you need a random joke for today, I might have one of those for you if you're looking for it. It goes something like this. In most places, you can get a driver's license when you're 16 years of age, which made a lot of sense to me when I was 16, but now this seems like it's a totally insane concept. I mean, just think about it. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. If you found a surprise $100 bill in your pocket, how would you spend it? In a poll of the top answers were shopping, dining out, and filling their car with gas, because, I mean, let's be realistic. Filling your car with gas is pretty much almost $100 wherever the hell you go nowadays. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. This happens more in the 2 weeks before Christmas than any other time of the year. What is it? Couples break up. Why is that? Well, because I think people don't want to buy Christmas gifts for each other. I mean, that's the easiest way to take a look at it. I mean, what else would you think about it? I mean, I don't know. Nothing else comes to mind. I mean, it's just something to think about as you are talking about it. That is for sure. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know? Young people in France will always have free access to condoms beginning in January. Speaking of an event for young people's health, President Emmanuel Macron said that those aged 18 to 25 will be able to collect them from pharmacies, describing the move as a small revolution in prevention. In 2020 and 2021, France experienced a 30% national increase in STI rates. Alternatively, they could have just made everyone wear the same hairstyle. I mean, I'm just saying, like, our people here in the afternoon. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying in general. Anyways, if you want to come and hang out to hour 2 of the Jay Allen of the Morning Show, I'll be doing that at RadioBig.fm exclusively if you want to come over there. Coming up next here will be the Sheldon Primus Show, and he calls that the Safety Consultant Podcast, which will come up next here on Safety FM. But if you want to come over, we are streaming on iHeartRadio and TuneIn. If you want to do that, or you can just go to the RadioBig.fm app and download it from there. And you can take a listen to what the hell we have going on. You can just listen to it on your web browser. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Great opportunity to help others seldom come, but small ones surround us every day. Think about that, because it really is important. Anyways, I'll see you over there hour 2 if you want to come and hang out. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, because without you, we couldn't do what we do around here. So think about that. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.